Okay, let's do this. Let's talk some Doctor Who. This is really a case of trying to do an episode to give a moral lesson, largely about mechanization and what it does to people. It's actually rather timely because we're at a point now where people are literally being mechanized out of their jobs, or they're being told a service is being offered to them as a boon when in actuality the customer picks up the work and the company saves money. By this I mean things like self checkout, right? And as these things become part of our daily lives, we get used to it. We don't even think about it. Like the ATM is a perfect example. We all use ATMs, right? But what has it done to cashiers? How many people no longer have jobs because of ATMs? And the argument behind it is always forward progress, forward progress. And that you can't slow things down. In this case, we have this big, large warehouse that very much reminds me of Amazon. I don't for 1 minute think that that was accidental. This was definitely a push against Bezos. So yeah, the doctor receives a package, and inside is a call for help. So she goes to investigate, and we find this factory that has a 10% employment guarantee. 10%. That's it. The entire thing is completely mechanized, right? And from what I understand, it seems very much like capital is still at play. So if you have a mechanized society, and you still live in a sort of capitalistic world, this poses a lot of difficulty for workers because if they don't have jobs, how exactly are they supposed to survive? Which is why this 10% is sort of like a throwaway to the workers. The doctor begins to investigate the case. As it turns out, it was the factory itself, the mechanized factory itself, that sent the warning message to the doctor asking for help. One of the workers had decided to make a statement by having all of their delivery robots blow up, right? And that this would force people to realize what's being done. And of course, the doctor does the whole this is wrong and this is not how you change things and yada yada. The end of the day, the doctor, of course, foils the plan. The robots blow up in the plant. No humans or aliens are killed in the process. Well, the larger process, that is. But um, something significant does end up happening. Because he did this, the people that run the plant, decide to go to 100% human employment, no longer mechanization. So while they're sending this message of defeat and how this was wrong, didn't the worker win in the end through his supposed terroristic tactics? Because he wanted humans to be employed. And now humans are going to be employed. This episode was about as subtle as being hit over the head by a hammer. There was zero finesse going on in it whatsoever. And there's a lot of times over the years Doctor Who has sent us messages about morality, where we're headed, the state of our society. But this was just really heavy-handed. I thought the writing was very, very poor. Um, and it's ginning up a fear that people already feel, that people are already facing. Like, for instance, you cannot be a truck driver and not be terrified about what's going on with self-driving cars, and Elon Musk buying a fleet of them. You're literally watching as your career is about to disappear, and this is no understatement. And it's happening in every single field. Nothing is safe. We already know this. I don't think we needed a Doctor Who episode to show us that, we can be replaced, that we are being replaced. There's a lot of vulnerable workers that already know this, that already have difficulty going to sleep at night. So, what's the message? On one hand, the doctor's killing is bad and this is wrong, but it achieved his end goal. And I thought the ending was really, really cloudy. What are we supposed to take away from all of this? So the workers should unite? Is that what the doctor is saying? That the workers should unite? And push management for a change and it will happen? It's not as simple as that. And the issues at play are so complex. It's not just about mechanization. It's also about the fact that we still live in a capitalist world. And the rich are getting rich, the poor are getting poorer. We're destroying our planet to bring home plastic crap from the dollar store that we're going to forget in less than a week. The If Doctor Who's going to have this conversation, they need to actually have the conversation. I think it's bullshit to play upon people's economic fears. I think it's bullshit to take people's economic fears for entertainment. And I'm kind of deeply, deeply disappointed. This story could have been so much better. It could have been so much more involved. If you're gonna have a gun, if you're gonna pull out a gun, you have to shoot it. You can't just wave it around and say, look at me," which is very much what this episode did, and that's part of the reason. I mean, it's a large part of the reason why I find it so incredibly disappointing. This for me was a fail on so many levels. Also, I'm going to go back to saying that now that we've had our People of Color episode, Yaz is back to sort of, fading into the corner, not being developed. We did see a little bit more of her than we have recently. She did get some lines to say, but it proves the point that unless they dedicate a special episode to dealing with race or colonialism, that it doesn't matter who the showrunner is, the Doctor Who simply does not know what to do with women of color. And if they haven't figured it out, now that it's November 2018, I don't think that they're going to be figuring it out anytime soon. Let's hope next week's episode is better than this, because this is a disappointment, and it's going to go down as one of my least favorite episodes of Doctor Who. I think the only one I despise more is Vampires in Venice. So that's saying something.